Yes, hello. Okay, welcome to the Witness Without Identity, guys. Today we're going to talk about our favorite British guy, Mr. Piers Morgan. Okay, so when it comes to Piers, guy, we are trying to find out is Piers a racist? Okay, and we are trying to find out is it Meghan Markle that messed up the British people to make people hate her? I don't understand. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. Like we have to listen to all the we have to do a true analysis. As I told you, the name of this show is called Witness Without Identity. You see the banner that I have. So all the news is out there, and you trying not to. I'm trying not to approach the show with our identity that I'm black, you know. So I'm trying to throw that away and listen carefully to what the people are saying. So here's the show, and let's talk about it. This is Piers Morgan talking to a couple people on the British channel. Let me see if I can see the name of the guest. They don't put a. Okay, there's Susanna Reid, Piers Morgan, Ben Shepherd, and Kate Galloway, and Charlotte Hawkins, and Sean Fisher. Okay, those are the people as the guests. Okay, so now let's listen to this.
Sussex's actions are thoughtless and damaging, and brand expert Nick Eady, who says what with Meghan and thinks the couple could be said to make millions. Well, I think that's fairly obvious. Alfred, let me take you to task, if I may, with the piece you wrote in the New York Times. I took great exception to your basic premise that the media hostility towards Meghan, which has only been in the last 18 months, the first 18 months, you got universal praise and positive coverage, and you acknowledged that in interviews. I've seen them. But then she'd made a few missteps, and a more negative amount of criticism appeared, which I thought in the main was fully justified. Inaccurate stories are not justified, but most of the stories actually, it's turned out, were true. Your premise is this is all driven by racism, that Britain's basically a racist country and the media's been racist, to which I say, on behalf of the media, where is that racism? I haven't seen it.
Hold on a second.
Say it was all driven by racism. I mean, Piers, if we take your kind of obsessive articles about Meghan, I'd say there's a dose of misogyny and xenophobia in there as well.
Every paper today has literally like 10 pages. I've not been obsessive. I've criticised Meghan and Harry where I felt they've deserved criticism. And also, when people tweet those columns of mine, they don't include all the positive ones. They're trying to create a false impression that it's all been one-way negative criticism. It hasn't.
You've been rewriting history here, Piers. From the beginning of Meghan's relationship with Harry going public, there were references to her being somehow associated with gang crime.
No, there weren't. I know that piece.
There was
no, hang on. You can't just say this.
No,
Okay,
you
this is an article.
Okay, like when it comes to those things are racist. I don't think Piers should deny that. I think yes, there's racism. Come on. I mean, it's not good for Piers to say that, because once you say that, people are gonna start thinking. But I still don't think Piers is racist. But it's not good to say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I personally believe that there is racism with British. British are the inventors of racism. They are the worst, I think, to me. Great Britain, the monarchy. It's all about racism. Britain is so racist. The British culture. That they invented the aristocracy. What do you think the aristocracy is about? It's about like this guy is in another class and thinks lower of this other class or these other people, and this is within British white people doing a prejudice against white people. So what the hell you think is gonna happen to a black man when you go to British? You're definitely gonna feel racism. You cannot eat like this. Oh, she's from the out of town. She's from over there. She's like a low class. She doesn't eat like this. She doesn't have proper etiquette. Everything's like that. So they invented that world. So I don't think it's fair for Piers Morgan to say no, it's no racism. It's like, yes, there was. But this is the situation. This is for me. I believe that Meghan Markle, as the first black princess, you have to respect that. And this is where I respect Obama and Michelle Obama in a way. They know that. They know that they're going to face racism. Yeah, you know that. You're smart enough. You know what I'm saying? So it look like Meghan Markle is saying, oh, no, there will not be racism. It's naive to think so. So it's almost like there's like the air is polluted. So you have to... It's part of the deal. It's part of the deal. It's part of the deal, of life, of being black. There's a racism that's like expected, almost even bearable, that you should be able to bear it. You should be able to accept it. You know what I'm saying? Yes, people are going to do racism thing. You know what I'm saying? If you go to Dominican Republic or if you go to Italy, Europe, you're going to fight racism. But there's a racism that's unbearable. I'm wondering if we can make the difference. All racisms are bad. All racisms are bad. But there's a racism that you know that you cannot get rid of it. Right? Who disagrees with that? There's a racism that you cannot get rid of. It's out there. People are gonna say that. But a racism that's like, well, like sometimes they are the athletes. They go to they go to a competition, and then people start screaming at them and calling them monkeys, and they throw bananas at them. That's not a normal. That is not bearable. It's unbearable because you are psychologically destroying that player. Psychologically, you're making that player feel like a piece of nothing. You cannot do that to a human being. That's like terrorist to me. But like a racism that once in a while people they don't want to talk to you too much, or that kind of racism they don't want to hang out with Meghan Markle, or they treat her a little bit differently. That kind of racism, she should expect that. I believe that. I think she should be able to deal with that. But we don't know if that's the kind of racism she's dealing with. And the little gossip, or you from the ghetto, those kind of stuff, they shouldn't hurt you that much. To me, that's to me. But everything in life is subjective. A lot of things in life are subjective. So maybe when she feels it, for her, it's the destruction. It's the end of the world. It's the end of life. For her, maybe it's like that. All right, let's see her. Let's hear more.
About where she grew up.
That she came from gang-scarred
Where did she grow up?
There was the question of whether
Where did
there
she
would
grow
be
up?
a hail of bullets if the royal family came to visit
Where
her
did she grow
family.
up?
She grew up in Los Angeles.
Where?
In Compton.
No, she didn't. She grew up in Crenshaw, which is 10 miles from Compton.
Right.
I live in Los Angeles for a third of the year.
I spend a lot of time in Los Angeles as well.
Well, you clearly don't know your Comptons from your Crenshaw.
I know Compton and I know Crenshaw. And
She comes from the border of South Central LA, which is one of the most gang-infested areas of the world. Clearly, when it was revealed who she was and what her background was, it was an interesting story that's where she's from. It doesn't make it racist to say that.
The university where I'm a professor is also in South Central LA. It's not only gangs and gun violence.
You know that
And
South Central LA, immortalised by the movie Straight Outta Compton, has a lot of gang violence.
So can we just acknowledge
it was an interesting aspect to this woman's
draw
background
out that one
she came
element,
from that part
that
of Los
one
Angeles.
element of South Central LA.
You say it's racist,
That
and I
is
say
a
it's
racialized
factual.
narrative.
It's factual.
So there are other things happening in South Central LA, Piers.
Had she come from Outer Mongolia, that would have been the story.
But Piers, if she was white, would people have associated her with the gang violence?
Well, let me put this to you, Effort. I would argue that Camilla Parker Bowles.
Okay, so the lady had a good question. If she was white, would they associate her with the gang? No, they would not, because white people are not. But I think that if Meghan Markle was a I'm gonna say something weird, guy, was a poor white girl from a very bad family, a broken family, the media would have talked about that too. So we have to play the game fair, guys. Let's play the game fair. Not everything is hardcore racist. That is totally different. But there is racism against Meghan Markle. It's tough to explain that to some people, that there is racism. I'm not going to say there's not. But if Meghan Markle was a poor white girl, no class, nothing, she doesn't know how to eat in the table, she doesn't know, she doesn't know how to walk, she doesn't know how to smile, she doesn't know, like, there's a special way you have to walk behind the queen, all that stuff, all those etiquette. You think the media will be like, oh no, she's a white woman, let's leave her alone. Is that why they leave Princess Diana alone? Look at how they mess with Princess Diana. The lady almost lost her brain. So it's not true. This is not true, you know what I'm saying? So I think the media is hard after everybody. But whenever you are, right? Like, let's say you're a poor white girl and you're very ghetto, they're gonna use that against you. Let's say you're a black girl that's a little bit in the hood, they're gonna bring that up. You know, that's the media. Sorry.
Princess Diana and Fergie all got 10 times worse coverage in the media, as long as it was good coverage, 10 times worse than Meghan Markle. And a clear example I would give you of how far the media have gone to actually protect Meghan Markle, look at the 6-week holiday they had in Canada. Not a single paparazzi picture, no intrusion, allowed to do their thing. And they responded to this, as they did when the press were incredibly positive about their trip to South Africa, with a torrent of negativity and their new media rule book, which only involves having people who are going to suck up to them.
I just find this surreal. There have been allegations that she's associated with very racialized forms of crime. There have been discussions about her exotic DNA. Her newborn baby.
Is her DNA not exotic by royal standards? She was the first mixed race person.
That's not good that she said, that black woman. Exotic DNA. Like, that's a good thing to say. If somebody say you have exotic DNA, then that's not a bad thing to say, like, about you. Exotic. Let me see. Meghan Markle. I'm going to do a little research here. Let me check this one out before it's too late. Meghan Markle, exotic DNA. Meghan Markle, exotic DNA. Exotic DNA. DNA. Meghan Markle is, Okay, so yeah, I could not find it, but they did say exotic DNA, but I don't know what they mean by that. But I understand it could be a little bit racist, but whatever.
Person to ever enter the
But you
royal
see,
family.
this is the
Why is the
context.
word exotic? Why do you take exception to the word exotic?
Because it others her and associates her with a history.
She's an
that has
African American
positive people
joining
of
a
African
white
heritage
royal family.
As other and
The word exotic is
associated.
not derogatory.
Well, listen, I'm a
You
woman
can't
of
just say
colour.
these things
Listen,
are racist when they're not.
I'm telling you, as somebody who's lived the experience of being a person of African heritage in this country, that there are narratives that are regularly
You see
used.
Like, okay, I have to agree with Piers Morgan on this one a little bit. Like, if somebody say you have exotic DNA, it's not an awful thing for somebody to tell you that. You see, we have to learn not to be too soft. I think the country and many people are becoming too soft. They get hurt by everything. You say the word ghetto, they start crying. And everybody start like, you know what I'm saying? We cannot be like that. We are men. We are very strong. And we have to learn to be strong. And not everything's gonna make you cry. You're not a bitch, you know. You're a man. You know what I'm saying? We have to stand strong, okay? Don't play the game of like being a bitch. You're not a bitch, you know. And I'm sorry. I mean, I shouldn't use the word bitch. I mean, you should. We should be like we should be like stronger than that. Like, you know, like what's up with this? It's like it's weird.
Racism
I
and
people
everything.
like you. No, I don't.
No, but are you
No, I
accusing me
don't.
of being racist?
I'm saying that the
Are you?
narratives you're perpetuating, yes, they're racist.
Really? Where have I
Yes.
been racist?
Where have you been racist?
Tell me.
I mean, I come on here usually to discuss debate.
Name
but
one
you
example
take a
of me being
position
racist.
On the side of
No,
racism.
you can say it, but then you have to prove it. Where have I been racist?
What do you think about the British Empire, Piers?
Huh?
The British Empire.
What do you mean? What do I think of the British
What do you think
Empire?
about
It doesn't
the British
exist
Empire?
anymore.
Do you think that it was positive that Britain went around the world trying to civilize people that
I think
regarded
it had
as savage?
positives and negatives, as I've always
and
said.
what do you think is the legacy of that project of telling people of African heritage that they were closer to savages? Do you think that entire history, which ended, by the way, in the 1950s,
I think a lot of it was
is
deeply
disappeared
flawed
and irrelevant?
and I think a lot of it was good.
Okay.
Like most people.
So the royal
Why am
family-
I a racist?
But because listen, my definition of racism is that we've inherited a very racialized history. Either you're committed to trying to dismantle and change that history of racism, or you're part of it.
Where
It
has the
doesn't mean
media
you have
been
to-
racist about Meghan
The
Markle?
media has wholeheartedly thrown itself, not all the media, but sections of it, especially the bits that you work for, Piers, wholeheartedly thrown
bits
itself
that I work for, wow.
behind,
Okay.
thrown itself behind continuing that project demonizing
Okay, Afua,
people of
you
colour.
said all this in the New York Times. You say we're demonizing a woman of color. You're the one bringing race into this. I've seen no.
That's actually Prince Harry made a statement about how racist
Yes,
British media has
they are
been
driving.
in its
They are
treatment of
driving
him
a narrative
and
that this
Meghan.
is all driven by sexism and racism, which I think is completely grotesquely wrong.
So is Prince Harry someone who sees everything as racist? As you've
I
accused
think
me
he's
of
being
him?
encouraged to. Yes,
By this
people
woman,
like you.
and this is a
That okay. So this is a very good point by the black woman there. What she said there is true because he's saying that my little beloved Prince Harry is being encouraged to drive everything by racism. So he's trying to say Prince Harry has changed because of Meghan Markle. You see, once you say things like that, people are gonna start thinking that you're playing a little game of racism. So you have to be careful. I think this is where Piers is playing a dangerous game, but that still doesn't mean he's racist. But he's a little bit biased. So we have to understand because racism means to me that you don't like black people. I don't think Piers is saying he doesn't like black people. I think Piers is saying that Meghan Markle is complaining about the monarchy is wrong. I think that's what he's saying. But if there is complaint, Piers, people have the right to complain. That's the problem I don't understand about Piers. But that still doesn't mean he's racist, though.
another
By
racist
people like you
narrative,
going
by
to
the
the
way.
New York Times and basically
By-
telling the Americans that we're a racist country driven by racist media, and that's what this is all about.
Do you
Let me
not
bring
see
it-
anything wrong with you?
You can't
as
name a
white
single
person?
example.
I've just given you 3 or 4.
No, you haven't.
Right, should we go through them?
Well, the Straight Outta
allegation that
Compton was
she's-
one of them,
she's-
Piers.
She's
She
related to
literally
gang crime.
comes from, as the mail put it, nearly straight out of
Her
Compton.
baby compared to a baby chimp. And when people like me
That
said
was
that
Danny.
was a racist joke,
Okay,
no,
that
then
was.
people
Hang
like
on,
you said
hang
that
on.
wasn't racist.
Danny Baker was a BBC broadcaster
Yes.
who said, and I have no reason to disbelieve him, he had no idea about the background to Meghan Markle.
That she had African heritage.
Danny Baker is not remotely racist, as anyone who knows him knows, right? Danny Baker was
exactly right.
unceremoniously beaten up on Twitter. Within 7 minutes, he deleted it, so I'm terribly sorry. I had no idea.
Did you acknowledge that that was
Wait a minute,
racist
he then
narrative?
got fired and vilified. That's what happened to Danny Baker.
Why?
Right.
Why did he get fired? Why was there an issue
He
with
got
that
fired
tweet?
because he put a chimpanzee baby
Right.
out as a tweet
Imagine
without
yourself-
knowing, as he said, without knowing anything about
Imagine
Meghan Markle's
yourself
background.
in the position of the only woman of colour in our lifetime to be a senior royal who is vilified by the press as they vilify all the royals regularly, to be fair, but is in an especially vulnerable position because she's the visible difference about her is her African heritage. And then on top of that, there are slurs used against her that have
Sarah, you've defended... Sarah,
Okay, guys. So you see the discussion here. There was they tweeted a picture of a chimpanzee. That's definitely racist. Piers Morgan is kind of too much of a British guy and he's hiding too much for the British. You shouldn't do that. But I understand. He's a proud British man. I still don't think he's racist, but I don't know. Maybe this is what I'm saying. Maybe there are spectrum of racism that we don't understand. I think that's what's going on. I think there's a spectrum of racism because maybe I grew up in the 1980s where racism was simple. The person in your face, they tell you they don't like black people. But there are people right now that are more, I don't know, maybe because of social media, they are very weird. There are people that are like, there are black people that vote for Trump. There are white people that have black granddaughters or black daughters or sons that are, that still talk about racism, that don't like minorities. But they have black daughters and sons. So racism is very weird. We have to do more investigation on this, guys. Subscribe to this channel. Follow me. Hear the discussion. Let's do it, guys. Let's not quit.